Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today we have a massive vintage haul to get through. So there has been another vintage kilo sale, and basically it's just where they take a room in your town and just fill it with racks of vintage. In my town it's in the town hall, and that's usually where it is for most people, and they'll just have like racks of dresses, racks of skirts, racks of shirts, coats, jeans, everything, etc. all just rammed into this room, and you just go through and pick up what you like, and at the end they actually charge you based on the weight of the bag that you filled, not on what the items are. So you could either end up with an amazing bag or a not so good one. I've got quite a big bag this time. I have been before, there is another video that I've done this. I think I've got a few more bits this time. I ended up spending £70, and I think it worked out at like £5 an item. So we'll see when I try them on whether you think it was worth it, but that's not a bad price. I have to say I don't massively enjoy going to these kilo sales. They're a bit stressful. They're usually really busy and you have to kind of like hold everything and try and rummage through racks, and it's a little bit hectic. This one was especially annoying because I had to queue for 2 hours to get in. Not because of the number of people that are trying to get in, just because of how poorly managed it was. There was a limited number of people that could go in. Makes sense, we understand that. But their genius plan was to, instead of have people kind of go in, one out, as you might expect, they decided instead people will be given allotted times. Which again, sounds fine in theory. You had to book a ticket online in advance. If they told you your time was 12 or 1 or whatever, you show up at that time, you go in, that's fine. But what they did instead is they didn't tell anyone that they were only letting people in on the hour. So everybody was queuing, and you would queue for an hour, and then you were told your allotted time, but you had to stay in the queue until you got to that time. So I got there just before 11, and I finally got into the building at 1 o'clock. So now I need your validation that what I bought was worth it. So let me cease my waffling, I've had my little rant, let's just get on with the vintage. And I don't think there's really any good way for me to do this apart from just pull things out the bag and we'll go in that order. It's mostly dresses because I couldn't get to the racks of skirts. There were people standing in front of it literally the whole time I was in the room, so we've got mainly dresses here. Well, let's just get into them. So, first out of the bag is this very cute little 1970s one. I actually really like this one because it has the most beautiful print. Check this out with its pretty sunflowers. They're very fitting for this time of year, I feel like. Like August sunflowers, pretty meadow flowers. It's just like a nice little like box pleated skirt. Little, almost like tennis dress kind of style. Little dress with a very pretty print. No idea who it's by, it's just got like a generic polyester wash label in it. I just really like the print, and this one I actually think fits quite well. So that is not a bad start to our little haul. Quite cute, let me know what you think, but just a nice easy wearable one. Then I have some Laura Ashley. Sadly this is not 1970s Laura Ashley. I did find some of that last time I went, but this is actually 90s Laura Ashley. I kind of just grabbed it because I saw the label, and I know that if Laura Ashley doesn't fit me, you can always sell it on and make a decent amount of money. But this actually, I think I do like it more than I thought I might. It's just a very, very classic 90s dress. It's kind of got a bit of a 1940s influence, just a little bit, but it's just very like, you can totally see it in a 90s film, you know? Just very simple kind of button up down the front, t-shirt style dress in quite a subtle print, but I think it's quite nice, like lightweight, as Laura Ashley. It is a decent fabric, though this is the more modern one, so it's not cotton, it's like rayon, but it's still quite pretty. A little bit kind of pyjama-esque, but very easy to wear again. So that was number 2. Next we have something a bit more voluminous. It is this very pretty late 70s, early 1980s dress, I'm going to say. It's like a little bit prairie dress, and then very Princess Diana on her wedding day, which, unpopular opinion, I know, Princess Diana's wedding dress might be the worst wedding dress of all time. Literally, worst fabric choice, way too big. She was a tiny little slip of a thing, and they drowned her in fabric, and it looked awful. Don't get why people like it. But anyway, this dress I like. This is very pretty. It's like this sheer polka dot fabric with all ruffles. We got them big mutton sleeves and a little neck ruffle. This actually didn't have a zip in it when I bought it. I've since replaced the zip. Annoyingly, the zip cost almost as much as the dress, but I will forgive it because I actually think it's super pretty. It does have, I reckon the reason it didn't have a zip is actually that the lining doesn't quite fit in the dress, and I was going to sort of tack it into place so it wasn't quite so obvious, but I actually think I might just remove it and then just wear like a bodysuit because that seems like less effort. But I think it's really pretty, and I think it's the sort of dress you could dress up or dress down. I've already worn it a couple of times, but yeah, pretty, a little bit different to anything else I've got. Nice and floaty, which I always like, and fits actually really well. So I think that one was a winning piece. Let's stick with the polka dots, because I've also got this nice 1970s cotton polka dot dress. This has got like the classic 70s tiered skirt. When I bought it, it had some alterations done to it, which I didn't really realise at the time, but it had this super ugly lace rosette thing on the front, which made it look a bit more like a cheap flamenco costume than a chic 70s little long dress. But when I went to pick off that ugly lace, I actually realised that somebody had stitched this front all up, because you could see these little button loops were stitched on the inside. So I unpicked all of that. I also then realised that the sleeves had been stitched in place, so I unstitched them, and they're now actually like tie-up ones. And I think just making those couple of really tiny little changes has massively changed the shape of the dress. Hopefully it looks just a little bit more grown up, a little better fitting now. I just think this will look really nice with some sandals. Imagine I actually had a tan and was actually like in the south of France or something. This would look super pretty with a sun hat and some sandals. Yeah, so I do like this one. It was absolutely filthy when I bought it. It has just come out the wash, so I will hopefully wear it soon and see how it does. You have to let me know what you think of it. Yep, that one, a nice summery cotton 70s dress, because we all know I need more of those. Now we've got something a bit older. This one is actually 50s, 60s dress. This is just like a really basic kind of prom shaped dress. It's got quite a high neckline. I actually think it's probably made for somebody a bit shorter than me, because everything just seems a little bit high. Like the neckline, the like boob dartage, all just seems like a little bit high. But it's in quite a pretty fabric. It's like this sheer floaty floral. So it's quite pretty, but yeah, I think it was probably made for somebody a little bit shorter, so I'm not really sure how it looks on me. But the print is gorgeous, and I can't turn down a little 50s, 60s prom dress. So you'll have to let me know what you think of how it fits and looks on, but I'm not 100% certain on it, but I do love the fabric. Then this 70s one is a little bit different. It is not floaty, it is not long, it is not cotton or floral or polka dot or any of my usual 70s clothing styles. It is a like fake suede dress. So this is basically a knockoff of a dress which Halston did in, I think, was it 76? Something? No, earlier than that. Some point in the 70s, an American designer called Halston made dresses that basically look exactly like this one. I think they were called Ultra Suede from the top of my head. But they were like this new fake suede material which meant that they were kind of waterproof and they could go in the washing machine and normal modern women could wear them. And this is like a cheap knockoff one from the 70s. It's in quite a pretty light grey colour. I think it would be really nice for in the autumn winter. It's quite thick. I definitely would not want to be wearing it right now because it is very hot in here. But yeah, I'll probably never have an actual holster one, so I figured I might as well have a fake one. Then back on form with floaty 70s stuff, I have this confection. Lots of sheer tulle floating about. Very like nightgown inspired, I feel. There's actually a couple of dresses like this. I was carrying around a black one for ages and then I thought blue's more fun. But it's basically like this floaty, very high necklined, kind of in that Victoriana, Edwardian revival style, but also definitely giving me 1950s and 60s bedwear vibes. But yeah, it's just unruffly and floaty, which I do love. I love like the prairie dresses and things, and this is just kind of like a cheap nylon version. But I just really wanted to float through a meadow in this, which I do say quite a lot when I buy dresses, and it does mean I do buy some kind of impractical dresses, but they're so much fun to float in, so you have to forgive me this. This lace on the top is literally the cheapest, most disgusting feeling lace you'll ever feel, but that is okay, we will forgive it. It is vintage. This one is made by the House of Henry Joseph Sidney, which I personally don't know. I haven't googled it yet. I'll have to let me know if it's one that you're familiar with. Next is one which sadly absolutely does not fit. So far I think I've done pretty well on grabbing stuff that fitted. The problem with these kilo sales is that you don't really kind of have time to stop and look at things that much. You kind of just have to grab and go before somebody else grabs it. So far I'm quite impressed that most of them have fitted me quite well. But this one, sadly, there is no way it is getting over my big old badonkadonk, which is such a shame because look at the neckline. Oh, it's so ruffly. This is a little 1960s little black dress with the most fabulous neckline going on. How cool is that? I've never seen one like this. I don't know if originally there would have been a little matching jacket. It's usually what happens with these little pencil dresses. But yeah, it's far too small unfortunately. I reckon it's about a modern 6'8", which isn't gonna fit my big old booty. But that's a cool colour, right? So pretty. It's such a shame it does not fit, and it's also pretty short. It's probably that late 60s era. It's so pretty and it feels like really nice fabric as well. So I don't know who made it, there's only a size label in it. So yeah, a mystery who made it, but a little bit more high fashion I think. Then moving swiftly on, we have something from the completely different end of the colour spectrum. This is not black. This is bright bubblegum colours and it is again pretty unusual. I have to say I've not seen anything else like it. This again I think is 1960s, but I think slightly earlier 60s. It's this very, very pink full circle dress with a super interesting stitching and things going on around the bust line. Some really fun buttons. It's also sort of lined in these bits of blue just to add extra colour. I've googled who made this, I could not find anything, but it's got this super fun 60s like psychedelic label that's got all this like multicoloured glitter in it, and it says from Brazilla, Paris, with love. That's it, that's all that's on there, and I could not find them. Oh, is it Brasilia or Brazilla? Not too sure. Brasilia, Paris. Couldn't find them, but this feels like cotton. And yeah, I'm not sure, it's very brightly coloured. I'm not normally that into kind of really bright one-off colours, but it's fun and it's different. I've definitely not seen another one like it. So I'm holding, I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or not, just because it is so pink. It's real pink. But it's fun, don't you think? Definitely different. Definitely. Yeah, it feels really well made again. There's quite a lot of effort gone into doing the bodice like this. So who knows with this one, where it came from. But yeah, very fun, very summery again. Also very creased from having been in that bag for about 3 weeks. Then the final dress in our heap is this nice little 1970s number again. This is like a short 70s one though. And this has got an unusual kind of floral, kind of camo print. It's got like yellow roses, but then I don't know if it's supposed to be sky or what, but it looks like kind of muddy patches. So there we go. But this is in kind of like an off the shoulder, prairie kind of style. I've got another 70s dress with literally the exact same neckline and sleeves, so they were quite popular. And this one, exactly like the other one that I have in this style, needs new elastic. The elastic in the top here has completely perished, which, like I say, also happened to the other one I've got like this. So I just need to unstitch it and replace that elastic, because right now whoever wears it, their boobs are going to be popping out left, right and centre with that elastic. It's pretty sheer, so it needs a little slip underneath it, which is not that easy when you've got your shoulders out, so we'll find something to put underneath it. So yeah, that's an unusual one again, definitely got a strange print on it, but little summer dresses, you know, I'm a sucker for a little summer dress, so I had to pick it up. Also it weighs like nothing, so it had to go in my bag, didn't it? Then finally is the one separate item that I got, and it is this super cute little like blouse, I guess you'd call it. It's like 70s but very inspired by the 30s and 40s. It has got super puffed little sleeves, a tight little waist, cute little buttons down the front. It's almost kind of like almost a peplum-y type style. It is in this super thick, kind of icky feeling old polyester. It's almost like a crimpline or something. It's that old fabric feel, you know, like they just don't make fabrics like this anymore, probably with good reason, because they do not breathe. This is super thick, it's very like heavy, but it fits like perfectly. I'm actually super glad I picked it up. I kind of looked at it for a little while because I wasn't too sure what I'd wear it with. But I'm glad that I did bring it home because I actually think it looks quite nice. I think just the fit makes it. It's actually really structured, and like I said, that fabric's really stiff, so it really kind of holds its shape. And again, it has that kind of feel that it could be from about 4 or 5 different decades, because it's 70s trying to do something older. I thought it's super cute. It's got a very pretty floral pattern as well. So yeah, I quite like that as my single separate item that I picked up. It's again filthy. All this really needs a wash. With these kilo sales, stuff does tend to be kind of filthy when you pick it up. But that's okay, because I have plenty of experience washing vintage clothing. So there we go, that was my one little shirt. So that was it. That was everything that I picked up on this particular trip to one of the kilo fairs. I'm sure if they're back in my town, I will come again. As much as I dislike the experience, I do love old clothes. I think my love of old clothes outweighs my hatred of physical discomfort, which is maybe not healthy, but that's the way it is. So I'll be back whenever they are back in town to pick up more sacks of stuff. I think I did pretty well this time. I'm pretty impressed at how much of it fitted okay. Because you can't try anything on, and you don't really have time to assess everything. So I think I did pretty well on picking up stuff which wasn't in too bad a condition and was actually in roughly the right size. So go past me. But I will be back either with another big haul from them, or in the meantime I'm always picking up vintagey bits from charity shops, etc. So either way, I hope to see you all again soon. I hope you're all doing well, and bye everyone!